So now we have some movement, perhaps, against one of the worst offenders really in the country. I don't know if there's a teacher more notorious than Seattle public school teacher Ian Golosh. And now the news broke by our friend Ari Hoffman at the Post Millennial. Seattle Public Schools is moving to fire the communist teacher who justified Hamas terrorism. Now, Ian Golosh has a long, and he describes himself as a communist, for the record, has this long, troubling history going back years where, stories would be in the news. I mean, he has an arrest record basically involving, criminal unrest. So he's totally an Antifa type. But he had a lot of troubling things that he was teaching to students, activities outside the classroom, posts on social media, so many things where Seattle Public Schools just looked the other way because there wasn't pressure on them, right? They weren't feeling the pressure. They liked, and the teachers union, the most powerful entity in the state, loves having teachers like that who are going to push literally communist beliefs on their students. So what is it? What's happening here? I would argue it's the Seattle Public School District concerned about lawsuits. So there was some news out this week that there's the family of a Jewish student suing the Seattle Public School District for failing to protect their student against anti-Semitism, but even that, like fears of violence against them. So I have to wonder if part of this is their concern that Jewish students and families are going to start to sue the school district. And Ian Golosh, one of the most troubling things, and the thing that actually got him put on paid administrative leave, which I can't believe it was paid, was this clip. Accuracy in Media went out to the campus where Ian Golosh was teaching and talked to him after the October 7 terror attack in Israel. And this is what he said.
Your post said that their oppressors don't get to choose the form of resistance used against them. You didn't write that?
That is true.
Well, then was what happened to Israel on October 7th justified?
Yes.
The rape of women at a music festival was justified.
Where's the evidence that there was rape?
You don't think there was any rape?
Where's the evidence that there was rape?
Okay. Were women murdered at the music festival?
They were.
Was that justified?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. But it only got to a point where he would say something so outlandish on camera because Seattle Public Schools had allowed him to get away with so many things. I mean, back in 2020, when I was still with Fox 13, I remember sharing this clip on social media. Ian Golosh, it wasn't clear at the time he was a teacher. We later found out, he was a teacher and who he was. And it was the first time his name came across, my radar. He led a group of students to try to take over the King County Jail building during all the protests over, cops suck and reform the criminal justice system. And this is actually a clip when our friend Jonathan Cho was working for Como News. So we were both still in mainstream news at the time, where you'll see Ian Golosh. This is 5 years ago. First of all, encouraging unrest from kids he's supposed to be a role model for, and then harassing the news media.
While claiming...
Hey, do you want Cairo? Filming? No, we don't want you guys.
No, Cairo.
We don't want you.
I'm not Cairo, bro.
We don't have permission to use none of that.
Insane. And I remember 5 years ago, I brought that to the attention of the Seattle Public School District. And he's like, are you okay with your teacher, one, having students off school grounds trying to take over a King County detention facility, number one, and number two, getting in the faces and encouraging harassment of the news media at a time when the news media was relentlessly under attack. And Seattle Public Schools talked about the First Amendment rights of their teachers. They haven't cared at all. But now we're in a much different environment. We're in an environment where the federal government and Donald Trump has made clear that he has his eyes on these things, where money is being threatened, where lawsuits are being threatened. And now they've got this teacher that said this wild stuff on camera. I mean, absolutely insane. There's free speech, but then there's having a teacher that says that the rape and murder of innocent people was justified. You can't have that person in a classroom with kids. But honestly, I think if we had a Democratic president right now who wasn't messaging these things, Ian Golash would still have a job. So the Seattle Public School District starting the process of firing him according to, and he was the former social studies chair at the Chief South International High School. Now he'll have an opportunity, of course, through the union, if the union wants to defend him, to try to keep his job. I wouldn't put it past the union to try to defend him. He's a big cheerleader of the Washington Education Association, but it takes a lot for the Seattle Public School District, as is evidenced by Ian Golash, to fire a teacher. Years and years and years of misconduct. Any one of the things that he's done should have been grounds to fire him. But now they're finally doing it. Interesting.